There's a specific moment when a smart person decides to delete you, and you'll never know it happened. No fight, no warning, just one Tuesday mid-conversation, their brain quietly files you under closed. Scientists tracked 15,000 people and found the smartest ones do this on purpose and get happier when they do. Today, you'll learn the 5 reasons why, how to spot the exact moment it happens, and the uncomfortable test at number 1 that reveals whether you've already done it to everyone you know. Fair warning, once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. By minute 3, you'll start replaying old conversations, and somewhere around number 2, one specific face is going to show up. Keep watching. Number 5. Their brain literally overrides a 200,000-year-old setting. Here's the study everyone misquotes and nobody reads. Evolutionary psychologists Satoshi Kanazawa and Norman Lee published research in the British Journal of Psychology using data from roughly 15,000 young adults. The pattern was almost embarrassingly consistent. For most people, more frequent socializing correlated with higher life satisfaction. Great. Humans like humans. Groundbreaking. But for the highest IQ participants, the correlation flipped. More socializing, lower satisfaction. Their explanation is called the Savanna Theory of Happiness, the idea that our brains still assume we're living in groups of about 150 hunter-gatherers, where your survival depended on constant contact. Frequent socializing feels good because your Paleolithic firmware says it should. But highly intelligent people, the theory goes, are better at overriding ancestral defaults and adapting to evolutionarily novel environments like cities, careers, and yes, deliberately empty calendars. So when your smartest friend cancels plans for the 4th time to sit alone with a project, that's not dysfunction. That's a brain that stopped taking orders from the savannah. And here's the detail everyone skips. The same study found population density had the same twist. Crowded cities made most people miserable, but bothered high IQ people far less. Translation: smart brains don't fear being surrounded, they fear being obligated. It was never about the people, it's about the leash. Notice what this means. For a high IQ brain, socializing isn't free, it's a tax on the projects that make life feel meaningful. They're not paying less because they're cheap, they're paying less because they finally read the invoice. Number 4. Solitude isn't their punishment, it's their pressure valve. We treat alone and lonely like synonyms, which is roughly as accurate as treating fasting and starving like synonyms. In 2018, researchers Thuy V. Nguyen, Richard Ryan, and Edward Deci ran experiments published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin and found what they called the deactivation effect. Just 15 minutes of solitude reliably lowered high arousal emotions, but the bad ones like anxiety and the fizzy ones like excitement, leaving people calmer and more regulated. Solitude, chosen freely, works like an emotional thermostat. And here's the part your extroverted aunt won't like. A 2017 study by psychologist Julie Boker found that unsociability, withdrawing not out of fear but out of preference, was the one type of social withdrawal actually linked with higher creativity. Shy withdrawal, linked to problems. Avoidant withdrawal, problems. But I just genuinely like my own company? Creative advantage. Smart people aren't hiding from the world, they're stepping into the only room where their best work happens. Isaac Newton developed calculus and his theory of gravity while isolated during the plague years of 1665 to 1666. Historians literally call it his annus miraculus, the year of miracles. His social calendar? Empty. His output? Reality-altering. One catch the research insists. The magic only works when solitude is chosen. Nguyen's team found the benefits collapse when isolation is forced. Same empty room, opposite effect. Which is why the smart ones guard the decision itself. The door isn't locked from the outside. That's the entire point. Number 3. Pattern recognition ruins small talk forever. Intelligence is, at its core, aggressive pattern detection. Wonderful for chess. Catastrophic for brunch. Because once your brain spots patterns automatically, conversations become reruns. You've heard this complaint before. You know how this argument ends. You can predict, with unsettling accuracy, that Dave will bring up his crypto portfolio in approximately 90 seconds. There he goes. Psychologists studying conversation depth, like Michael Cardass and Nicholas Epley in their 2022 research in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that people consistently underestimate how much strangers want deep conversation, so everyone defaults to shallow scripts nobody actually enjoys. It's a society-wide coordination failure. We're all serving each other food none of us ordered. For a highly intelligent person, that gap between the conversation happening and the conversation possible becomes physically uncomfortable. So they don't leave people, they leave loops. And from the outside, leaving loops looks exactly like leaving people. Number 2, they've done the social math and the numbers are brutal. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar's famous research suggests humans can maintain roughly 150 stable relationships, but the inner layers matter more, about 5 intimate bonds, 15 close friends. Maintaining each layer costs real time. Dunbar's work shows friendships measurably decay without contact. Now run the equation from a smart person's perspective. Every hour spent maintaining a draining acquaintance is an hour subtracted from the 5 people, or 5 pursuits, that actually compound. They're not antisocial, they're portfolio managers, and they've realized 80% of their holdings are junk bonds with birthdays. There's also an energy cost nobody invoices you for. Research on self-monitoring and surface acting, faking emotions you don't feel, a concept sociologist Arlie Hochschild termed emotional labor, consistently links it to burnout and exhaustion in workplace studies. Smart people notice they're performing, and once you notice the mask, wearing it starts costing double. So they vanish, not dramatically, quietly. Fewer replies, shorter calls, a slow fade that feels to everyone else like betrayal and feels to them like finally exhaling. Dunbar's team even put a price tag on the inner circle. His research on friendship maintenance suggests close bonds demand contact roughly every few weeks, or they quietly demote themselves down a layer. Smart people intuit this budget, so instead of overdrafting on 50 relationships, they pay 5 in full. Everyone else calls that disappearing. Number 1, disappearing is how they build the version of themselves you'll meet later. Here's the reason nobody says out loud. Sometimes intelligent people vanish because staying visible means staying the same. Your social circle holds a cached version of you, your role, your reputation, your ceiling. Psychologists call the pressure to stay consistent with others' expectations identity maintenance, and it's sticky. Try changing your entire personality in front of people who knew you at 17. They'll fine you for it. So the smart move, the genuinely statistically smart move, is to update in private. Historically, this is a pattern. Newton in quarantine, Darwin spending decades quietly at Down House refining his theory before publishing, writers and founders famously going dark before their defining work. Deep change requires a development environment. You don't push untested code to production, and you don't debut an unfinished self at a dinner party. The vanishing isn't the story, it's the loading screen. So if someone brilliant faded out of your life, maybe they didn't reject you. Maybe their brain overrode the Savanna, did the math on Dunbar's layers, felt the deactivation effect kick in, and chose the room where the miracle year happens. And if you're the one who's been pulling away, feeling guilty about it, congratulations. According to a 15,000-person dataset, you might just be operating as designed.